Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Who's here? How are you all doing? How's your day been? I hope you have been having a fabulous day. What? It is going off in the UK at the moment. If you're watching the news, you know exactly what I'm talking about. UK is on fire. Pray for me. Pray for me. But honestly, pray for me. You don't need to worry. I am out of the way of the rioters. I am calmly in my home, not stepping out to any place unless it's absolutely necessary. If you're here and you can hear my voice, just give me a thumbs up so I know that you're here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me see here. Who's here? Who is here? Uh, 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 who's here? Nobody's saying anything. Okay, we'll just begin. So as I said, there's a lot going on in the UK at the moment, and while it's tempting to look at the events happening in isolation, I am about to thread the series of events together so you can see exactly what is going on here. Um, you guys remember that last week, Harry had his interview with ITV News where he was discussing phone hacking, and he particularly said that he would not be bringing Meghan with him to the UK due to security concerns. So, what do we see next happening? Okay, just walk with me a little bit as we do a deep dive into this conversation because I have discovered that you don't just take the headlines at face value. There is usually an agenda that they are pushing, and I am going to break it down, or at least I'm going to share my opinion with you, and you can tell me what you think. So, shortly after Harry's interview, Harry and Meghan announced that they were going to Colombia on the invitation of the Vice President of Colombia, right? Then what that sets the British media on fire. That fire, they labeled Colombia too dangerous, calling Colombia the epicenter of crime. If I was the prime minister or the president of Colombia at the moment, I would be too petty not to say something like in relation to what's going on in the UK at the moment. He is so mature for being silent. But anyway, can you imagine the sweet irony of what's going on in the UK at the moment? After labeling Colombia as being too dangerous, being the epicenter of crime, the most dangerous country after Nigeria, only for the UK now to be engulfed in flames as violent racist protests have taken over the streets of the UK. Ridiculous. I'm sure that was not on their bingo card. If they had asked them the week before then, what did they think that this week was going to be looking like? They would never have said violent racist attacks in the UK. Never. But as I said, there is more to what is going on than is being reported as usual. So, before I get into it, let me say hello to everybody. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it is great to meet you virtually. How has your week been? I hope good. Hi, Connie Balmer in Baron's voice. Hi, Asante Wa. I hope I said that right. Asante Wa Boateng. Hi, how you doing? Welcome, welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. Okay, my plan is not to keep you guys on here for too long. So I am going to be moving quite swiftly through these slides so that you can get on with whatever you have to do for the day. All right, so um, the UK is experiencing, as I was saying, I'm sure that the all the media people who were busy saying that Colombia was the most dangerous place after Nigeria, they did not have UK being engulfed in racist attacks on minorities on their bingo cards. And they claim that all of this is stemming from the unaliving of three girls at a Taylor Swift themed event in Southport. False messaging on social media wrongly identified the suspected unaliver as an Islamist migrant. That's what they said. And as with all things, this herd mentality, it is more dangerous than anything I have ever seen. Suddenly, people who are very intelligent just allow themselves to follow the wrong route just because people who are shouting louder are saying it. It's so easy to get carried away by the suddenness of these events. But when I thought about it deeply, I decided to do a deep dive into the situation. I decided to do a deep dive into the situation, and I realized that all these events are connected. So, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let me stitch it together for you guys. So, if you look at the headlines published before these riots, you will kind of see where these riots are coming from. For all intents and purposes, what I can say definitively is that the media is at it again, twisting the narrative to make it all about racism and immigration, whereas it has nothing to do. Well, it has a little bit to do with it, but it's not all about immigration. Immigration and racism is just being used as a tool for the um, far right to achieve their agenda, which it's just being used as a pressure tool on the Labour government because they know that ordinarily they would not get the Labour government's attention. Okay. But before we go further, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Please hit the like button and leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you have visited before and you have not yet subscribed, let today be the day you decide to subscribe. For all those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Also, hit the like button on your way in, or if you're already in here, please go ahead, take a moment to hit the like button. The Rangers are trying to bother my channel. It seems like they've gotten a whiff of my project. So they just the other day I got an email from YouTube saying asking me a few questions, but it's fine. I've resolved it, so it's all right. As I was saying, so let's begin the journey down the deep dive that I did. So just last week, right? You guys, I didn't talk about it because I felt like it was an internal UK issue. But just last week, the UK Chancellor exposed a £20 billion black hole in the country's finances. And this black hole was hidden by the Conservative government. Even when they were campaigning, they were making promises, not revealing the black hole that they had created in the government's budget. They were making promises that they also knew that they would not have the finances to keep. Okay, so the Treasury's audit on taking over power from the Conservative government revealed the dire state of public services and councils, alongside Boris Johnson's unrealistic promises of new hospitals and roads without a budget, guys, without a budget, without a budget. So, when the Labour government took over power, in the King's speech, the Labour Party laid out their plans, including the plan to scrap the Rwanda policy and fix the damage left by the previous Conservative policies. So, hence, what did we see happened in the very next day? The Southport stabbings. What do we know about the attack? Well, they say that these stabbings were carried out by a suspect who was an Islamist migrant. And this, they say, is what led to the riots. Hence, enter the misinformation brigade. Figures like Andrew Tate and Tommy Robinson have been spreading lies and blaming immigrants and Muslims for the violence. Robinson, with his 800k Twitter followers, even claims that Islam is a mental health issue rather than a religion of peace. Talk about dangerous rhetoric, guys. Talk about dangerous rhetoric. This is what is happening here in the UK. Are you tracking with me? If you haven't yet begun to see where all of this is connected, don't worry, we're still on it. As I go along, you will see what I'm talking about. So, at this point, you have to ask yourself several questions. If you're not going to be carried away by the prevailing sentiment, okay? If you're not being carried away, because the media, they know how to instigate fear, panic, alarm in people, right? So if you decide that you're not going to look at the media and just reason, take a step back, allow yourself to calm down, and then you begin to track back and see where the headlines have been for the last couple of weeks, you will see where these riots are coming from. So let's ask ourselves some hard questions. What do the asylum seekers have to do with the Southport incident? Some person would say to me, oh, well, they said it was a migrant who unalived the young girls. But this was a rumor and it has been debunked already. It was a rumor spread by Andrew Tate and Tommy Robinson, right? Indicating that the Southport unaliver was an immigrant. The truth is that the young man who committed these crimes was a British young man with Rwandan descent. So is it a coincidence that they are trying to lump him into this situation, or is it just that he fulfills their agenda? What is the agenda? The Rwandan policy that was scrapped and all the other policies that the Labour have brought in since they took over government, which has stepped on the toes of the Conservative Party. I mean, for goodness sake, in that King's speech, which the King himself had to read, they literally took over the sovereign purse, which is something that has not happened since the Conservative government took over power. And guess what? The King even had to read this, and the King even had to read that speech. And even if you're going to go with the theory that the unaliver's heritage is Rwandan and that immigrants are a problem in the UK, how did the protesters know where to find the asylum seekers? Yeah? How did the protesters know where to find the asylum seekers? Because as part of the protest, I think on day 2 or so, they have been burning down the hotels where asylum seekers have been placed while they are processing their immigration status. So how did the protesters know where the asylum seekers have been located? That is, I will tell you how. I will tell you how. Just a minute. Listen to this. So we had a Labour MP say this on the Parliament floor. And you know that the Parliament floor is open to the public, right? They listen in just like they do the C-SPAN in America. Just listen to this.
In Tamworth, the Holiday Inn has been used for asylum purposes for years, and the simple reality is that residents want their hotel back. Tamworth benefits from local tourism.
Did you hear that? Specified the hotel and specified where the hotel was located. The government has a duty to keep the asylum seekers safe. They are supposedly seeking refuge from danger or whatever kind of situation in the UK. And then they get here and the people of the UK expose them to even more danger. That's ridiculous. And then look at this. This is a list that was created by Tommy Robinson. This is a list that was created by Tommy Robinson of a schedule showing where everybody was going to go to riot. They have planned 39 protests all over the UK. They want to bring this government to a halt. All because the Labour government policies don't match what they want. They want to bring the UK back to imperialist Britain time. So, what has the Prime Minister's reaction to all of this been? The Prime Minister um, he has taken a very calm, very measured approach to the situation, which is lovely to see. Um, I'm quite comfortable with how he has handled things so far. First thing he has done is to increase the prison capacity by nearly 600 places to handle these and those involved in the riots. So far, 400 people have been arrested. Okay. Next, all the people who have participated in the riots are now claiming that they are being threatened. Tommy Robinson, who he set the UK on fire and then he ran away to Cyprus and where he was having his holiday. He was having his holiday in a 400 a night hotel, chillaxing as he sent people out to go and cause chaos and confusion in the UK. Talk about a scam. Oh my God. I don't know what he thought. He thought perhaps, I don't know what he thought. I don't know what he was thinking about, really, because it seems like he was not expecting that people would realize that he was away on holiday when he set everybody up against each other in the UK. Now everyone is fighting. He's all the way in Cyprus, away from the danger. His group, the English Defence League, have claimed that the UK is using two-tiered policing against white people. Can you guys believe the audacity? You know, when they say the UK are using two-tiered policing against white people, it means that what they mean is that the UK are treating everyone like equals. Anyway, everyone else in the world, but these people seem to be capable of rational reasoning. Pierre Carmers vowed to hold these people who are attacking mosques, hotels, housing migrants, and engaging in violent acts. He has also convened Cobra meetings, which is the government, I think, their emergency meetings when there are issues of state to address the situation. And he's taking a measured approach rather than hastily deploying the military because he knows that if he does and makes a wrong move, the next thing they would do is to accuse him of uh, using excessive force against his own people. So, guess what? Anyway, those people, those people in Colombia, Nigeria, Australia, India, they're all warning their citizens about the dangers of traveling to the UK amidst the unrest. Is that not a sweet irony? Is that not a sweet irony? Uh, if I were the Colombian president, I would issue a travel alert as well. But that's why these are the calm people who are the presidents, not people like me who would be perhaps overreactive. After all said and done, guys, don't you think Harry was right about the state of the government? Um, Let me see the comments. Okay. Lady Rose says, yes, Connie, tabloids got another paper at my local Walmart with Meghan and Beckham's. Most Americans don't know Pecker. Okay, that's not for me. Um, okay, that's not for me either. Sussex Love said, I disagree. I think that the longer Keir Starmer lets them get away with it, they'll keep doing it. They'll get worse. I think he needs to crack down, like he would if they were black. Uh, let me see. Okay, let me see how many other people agree with you. Lady Rose also agrees with you, of course you do. Um, okay, so I think maybe that's also something to consider, but it's not like he's sitting down and not doing anything. Perhaps you didn't know what I meant when I said he's had a Cobra meeting. I don't know what the equivalent of that would be in America, but that's where the chief of staffs have met. And apart from the usual police who patrol the streets, they have sent out a special group and troop of policemen to go in and tackle the situation. Um, I don't know whether it has anything to do with whether they're white or black, and I am not a white apologist. I just look at this situation and from the perspective of him um, trying to be taking things a bit calmly, because if he reacts with excessive force, it might be the case that things would unduly escalate. And he has already sent out the regular police patrol, things escalated. He has sent out the specialized police people to assist the ordinary police people. I think that it only makes sense for things to be upgraded as things go on, because, as I said, he is trying to make sure that he takes measured steps. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that I don't even think he has been in power for up to a month. So the wheres and hows of how a situation like this will be handled are something that he is probably just coming to grips with. And he needs to be careful how he approaches everything. Mm. Connie Balmer says, I don't trust Stammer at he is linked to murder. Might be. Yes, he had a meeting with Murdoch at the before he became prime minister. I think there was an article in the Daily Mail showing him having a champagne event or something with Murdoch. That may be the case, but this really doesn't have much to do with that. But I think it's thing is that I am willing to give him grace because the alternative was that the Conservative Party will remain in power. Kind of like the situation you guys, those in America, are in at the moment. It's either somebody who will give you some of what you want, or someone who will blow the country to pieces. That's kind of what we got. And we've got a government now in the Labour Party who will give us some of what we need. And what has happened, what we are seeing happen in real life, is that the Conservative government had been in power for 14 years and they had gotten so comfortable in being in power. And then I think to a certain degree, were radicalized by the Trumpians in America because this kind of things, even though there were riots before now in the UK, but not to this degree. I think this is the worst that the UK has ever seen. Yep. Sussex Love says, look at how the white British football fans acted when they lost, how they turned on the black players, how they were attacking them, even on the streets, they were violent when they don't get their way. Meant anti-karma cut them at the exact time they were criticizing Colombia. Are they still saying Colombia is dangerous? I haven't been on social media since yesterday. Yes, they're still saying that. Yes, they're still saying that Colombia is dangerous, but they have not been able to amplify that as much as they would have loved to do because the Colombians, I'm sure, would turn around and throw away the restraints that they're currently showing by not bringing up the riots that are currently going on at the moment. Boney Mighty says it's like back in the 60s, white against blacks. The UK is going backwards instead of forwards. And the Labour Party are trying to take us forwards, but the Conservative Party and the people who support them are trying to bring us backwards. This is what I meant when I said that they want a return of imperialist Britain. Meanwhile, the world has moved forward since then. Starmer is the lesser of two evils. That's exactly what I was saying. Yes. That's what we had in our last choice of presidential elections. That's not what we have now. What do you mean? Trump is the alternative, right? Then you've got Kamala, right? So it's one or the other, isn't it? It's either Trump or Kamala. That's the reason why people decided that they were going to pull together to support Kamala when it became evident that Biden was not going to be continuing. Anyway, I'm thinking that Harry will be looking at all of this and be saying, but I told you guys, that the UK media is racist. The government is racist. Look at this, because some of the people who are actually inciting all of this, they are all government officials. Nigel Farage, for instance, a lot of the Tory MPs, this mainly the right and the far right, who are engaged in all of this. And what they're trying to do is to sabotage the government. If I'm alive in 4 years from now, I'm not voting for anyone. I normally vote Labour and then I will never vote for Conservative, but none of them will get my vote anymore. Well, what if you were the person who will stop the government from getting into the Conservative hands if you vote? Because the Labour Party are a lesser of the two evils. And as it is right now, people expect, I think our expectations are a bit too high almost. This Labour government have only been in power for 4 weeks. At least give them 2 to 3 months to find their feet with what's gone on in the government before we just conclude that they are useless. I think. Anyway, I'm not a government apologist. I'm not under contract to say or do anything on their behalf. I'm just looking at it from a human perspective. I might be wrong and you might be right. Um so what do I think of it all? Oh, I am so glad that you asked. The situation completely underscores Prince Harry's claims about the dangerous elements within the UK, including the far right agenda, institutional racism. The racist rhetoric in the UK is just usually a shallow scratch below the surface. Prince Harry not bringing Meghan Markle to the UK, everybody now and his everyone and his cat can see the reason for that now. So he doesn't have to explain too much, even though the media would like to cover all of this up. They can't cover this up. They can't cover these riots up. But that's just me. Anyway, I know that it's going to take more than this to get the government to change their position on the Levinson 2 inquiry that they talked about. But this would have been a good time for them to revisit their decision not to make the Levinson 2 inquiry a priority, because a lot of the incitement has come through a lot of the incitement has come through the media. The media has been feeding the general public unabashedly, very openly, very racist rhetoric. So of course, at the very snap of a finger, uh, when one little thing happens, um, it's going to generate chaos. Just a few weeks ago, there was another unaliving, but this time it was of a black child by a white person. There was no riot. There was no riot. To them, it was normal. Oh, that's sad, but that's about all anyone said. That's about all anyone said. If you ask me, if I am reading between the lines, I would say that it feels to me that these people who organized and participated in these riots were too ready. They were too organized. It seems to me like some negotiations were going on behind the scenes. The demands were not met, and the players activated their threats to riot if their demands were not met. Thinking about it, in Keir Starmer's speech, I told you guys, he literally took control of the sovereign fund. I am not saying that the royal family have had anything to do with this. I'm just simply saying that as soon as the Labour Party stepped in, they went into areas that the Conservative Party have avoided for years, which really would have benefited the general public, but will step on the toes of the rich people in the UK, starting with the royal family. He took control of the sovereign fund, even though we heard that the royal family are going to get a 45 million pound increase, but I explained that in another video how that came about. So if you want to watch that video, there is a playlist. I think it's titled UK Politics. You can see how I explained how that 45 million pound increase came about. Basically, we can see that we don't. I can't imagine the interested parties in those policies which Labour have either cancelled or put on mute or whatever. They're definitely going to push back. And I think what we are witnessing right now with all of these riots is a pushback. I don't believe that these are people who are actually protesting against any immigrants, because it has been made clear that what started this whole thing was, or what they claim was the motivation behind the riot, was that people were stabbed. They claim it was an immigrant who did it. It has since been debunked. It has since been made clear that the suspect, who they claim was an immigrant, is actually not an immigrant. The person was born and bred in the UK. So why are they still rioting? No answer. No answer. They can't answer the question. But everybody is swept away by the panic, the excitement, because the British media haven't had this much to talk about since Harry and Meghan stepped down from working as senior members of the royal family. So they are, you know, getting everyone agitated with the headlines and the sensationalist reporting. But if you take a moment to just calm down and think, you will see the sequence of events does does not make if you watch the sequence of the events, you will see that the reporting doesn't make sense. We surely don't imagine that interested parties didn't have a clue what was going on. To we didn't. The people whose interests have been negatively impacted by Labour's policy changes must have known that this was going to happen once Labour took control of government. And if you were the one and you had the power to do it, maybe you would do what they have done. Maybe. So it only makes sense to me for now. No matter what they say in the media, this is the only thing that makes sense to me, because the given reason for the riot has already been debunked. So, and they were seemed to be too ready and too organized. It's like they were just waiting for something to happen. They were just waiting for something to happen. Anyway, so now that Harry has been proven right, and the government is still not looking to go ahead to activate the Levinson 2 inquiry, this is where the squads come in. As I have been campaigning for the last couple of weeks, we need to organize the UN petition so that international bodies add their voice to Prince Harry's voice to activate the Levinson 2 inquiry for media reform in the UK. How it would have been so lovely if, due to this riot, they automatically called for the Levinson 2 inquiry to happen, and for the media to change how they report on events. But we all know that that's not going to happen. Anyway, in pursuit of this goal, I had my first meetup with those my channel members who are going to be joining me on this journey on Sunday. I did a breakdown of what the PR consultant advised me on and what Harry and Meghan have done so far, which convinced me that they have done all that they are able to do and they actually need help now. I have now started the process of doing the work needed to file the petition, and I will continue to share updates with the channel members on Sunday. So if you want to participate, please go ahead and join the channel membership. The link to join the channel membership is at the top of the chat. Go ahead, click the link, join the channel membership. Before I go on, let me bring this lady's YouTube channel to your attention. This is one of our own, Carmen's Place. Now, she runs a YouTube channel for young, mature ladies who love to look good in our daytime and nighttime looks. She will hook you up with the best makeup tips for your skin type. So guys, we're trying to get her channel up to 1K subs. I have mentioned this several times before in my previous videos. So a lot of people have already subscribed to her channel through this channel. But if you have not already subscribed, please let's support the let's support our community by let's support our community by subscribing to her channel. I have dropped the link to her channel. I have dropped the link to her channel in the chat. Please, if you have not already subscribed, please go ahead to subscribe to Commonplace Beauty. Do that. I am still here. I'm not going anywhere for the next 5 minutes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's subscribe. We rise by lifting others up. Okay? We're trying to get Carmen to 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead to subscribe to Carmen's YouTube channel. Okay? You're not going to miss anything. While you are on, I will just go through the comments. Let me see. While you are doing that, I will just go through the comments. Okay. Connie says, "Oh, Connie, you had a 3 weeks fantastic holiday. Visited Greece and Cyprus. Oh, that's really nice. Really, really nice. That's really nice. Greece is not too far away from the UK as well. I think it's just I think about an hour's plane ride away from the UK. So we were quite close at some point. Did you have fun? I hope you had fun. And I think you said, what was this? You said you got some presents, a tablet, and an iPhone. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, you got pampered for your birthday. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. Congratulations on having a great birthday. Uh, Congratulations. Okay. While you are looking at that, has anybody gone to subscribe to Carmen's Place Beauty? If you haven't done so, please go ahead to do so. Really, really, when our people come up to tell us that they need support, we need to support them and not just say we're going to support them without really doing anything. Okay. Carmen needs support for her channel. She is trying to raise an alternative business stream for herself. So let's support her by subscribing to her channel. She has actually just done a new video recommending the beauty balms for our lips for mature women. Let's go ahead to do that. All right. So while we are talking about that, talking about the UN petition. So I said I have already begun carrying out some of the tasks needed to begin the project. If you want to know more details about the project, you would need to try and join the channel membership. The link to the channel membership is at the top of the chat. Go ahead, join the channel membership so that you can join us every Sunday for an update on where we are with the project. Okay, so we all know that filing a UN petition, it's more or less like filing a case at the Supreme Court. So the petition itself is not a joke. It's a huge, huge, huge deal. And I know the task might seem intimidating. In fact, it's a million-step challenge. But if we can overcome the things we have overcome in our lifetimes, We can do this as well. And if we direct our energies towards the strategies that will quiet the media channels perpetuating the smear campaign, then all the better. Personally, I have volunteered to take up this challenge. However, I need your help to get this done. I'm calling for your assistance now. Please respond. um, in order for me to be able to access information, access people that I need to speak to, I need to increase the subscribers on my channel. So please go ahead to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. If you know people who you know would be interested in this kind of project, please recommend my channel as well. I need to build the channel up to at least 10K subscribers before we are able to be successful when it comes to reaching out to certain groups of people. You know how they do. When you write them, you email them, you text them, they will look at your channel first to see how influential you are. So this is why I need your support. So far, so good in terms of the work. I don't, my being under 10K is not stopping me from moving forward. Rather, I am energized and ready to move forward. But I'm just letting everyone know what I need, what I'm going to need in order to make the kind of impact that needs to be made. So I've talked about the 10K subscribers. I will also need channel members. If I can get 1,000 subscribers at the £4.99 level, then that means that I will have sufficient funds to deal with all the expenses, at least expenses required to sort out the UN petition. So if you haven't already joined the channel membership, please go ahead to do so. Okay. I have said that instead of always being on the defensive when it comes to Harry and Meghan, we could switch to the offensive. Instead of chasing the headlines from behind, we then set the change. We set the story. They begin to chase us so that we're more in control of what is happening to our lives with this smear campaign that is exhausting to deal with on a daily basis. Also, I need 1,000 Instagram followers to effectively help me disseminate information quickly. So if you haven't already followed my Instagram page, please go ahead to follow it. I am dropping the link to my Instagram page in the chat. Please go ahead, follow my Instagram page so that when we start dropping updates, you would be kept abreast as well. All right, thank you. So, time for an update. So, the update for the channel members is just that we're going to be hosting our next channel members only live on Sunday. And in the update, we're going to be discussing the number of organizations that I'm going to be approaching. And depending on the time, but if we have time, we will discuss the requirements that each organization has in order to intervene in this matter. Okay. As I said, if you want to be part of the conversation, you need to join the channel membership. Okay, guys. So there you have it, guys. These people think it's business as usual. Let's show them that it's not quite. Let me look at your comments. The government could use DWP to access who is eligible for the £300. My reason for this, I know a lot of middle income pensioners who give the money to charity because they don't need the cash. Yes, that was another one. I think they said that they're going to make it means tested. If I'm not wrong, they're going to make it means tested. So they're going to check to see who actually needs it. Let's hope that they actually do that. Uh, my family people are calling to check on me. Uh, okay. Um. Oh, sorry. What did Connie Balmer say? Neither media except YouTube. I will support you. Of course, my love. If it is, if you don't, there's some people who are on a social media fast because of what I do being a YouTuber. I am on all the socials. I am everywhere. Instagram, Spoutable, TikTok. But I think that the one that I find it easier to get information from and to dispense information through is Instagram. It's just easier because it's on my phone, um, rather than um, YouTube. To do YouTube, half the time I have to pull a video together. Do you know that creating these videos takes upwards of 8 to 10 hours to put together? Crazy as it sounds. Anyway, so for those people who are not able to join the channel, please don't feel bad. That's perfectly okay. Just do your bits, please, by subscribing if you can, like and share the video if you can, and just to help push the mission forward. Um, Hi, Connie says, I'm on neither media except YouTube, but I'll support you on YouTube. Yes, sure, that's fine. Have you joined the channel membership yet? Please go ahead to join the channel membership if you have not already joined. So guys, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates. Your voice matters. Let's keep the conversation going. Uh, Hi, Joyce. Hi, Joyce. How are you? Hi, Lorna. How are you doing? Lady Rose, I won't mention a name, but the country has majority that don't want migrants and black people. Oh, sorry. That's not really for me. Anyway, all right, guys. Um, thank you very much for being here. I am signing out now. I am getting better with the time, hopefully. All right. Have a good evening and bye now. Thanks for being here with me this evening. Bye. Bye bye.